going on, everybody? We are back with another episode of Instillment HQ. I'm Reese.
And I'm Ben.
And today we are lucky enough to have the amazing Lynn Nicholls. How are you?
I'm very good. Thank you both for having me here.
Thank you
very much for coming.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
I'm so excited to be chatting. So
Yeah,
many
me too.
things we're going to learn and talk about, and it's going to be great.
Fun.
So within like a minute or so, like, can you kind of tell us about what Lynn Nicholls is all about, or what?
Ooh, okay.
All right.
Really fast. No, I'm a psychic medium.
Okay.
So I do messaging shows. So I can do groups of 50 to over 500, and I can connect with the people's friendly neighborhood spirits that come to visit us. So grandpas, aunts, uncles, things like that, people like that, and give them messages that are specific and meaningful and make them laugh and sometimes make them cry. But most of all, they leave feeling like they've had a wonderful time and they have a connection to the other side and proof that life goes on. And I also do private readings where I do the exact same thing, but one-on-one. And I teach people how to tap into their own intuition and how to use it for themselves so they can make better choices and they can have some insight and have a little edge over the other person going for the job or the other person going on that first date. And, amp up their intuitive powers. And like I say, your intuition is your superpower.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Unreal.
Wow.
So I guess, like, how did you get your superpower? In terms of, like, where did it start? Like, was there a moment? Is it like,
Yeah.
I don't know, you tell me.
I will tell you. I could
Okay.
tell you exactly where it started.
Okay.
Well, this is where I remember it starting, because I do, when you look back, I always remember just having a little extra bit of knowing about people. But when I was about 12 or 13, for 3 nights straight, my bed would shake, my closet doors would rattle, and I would have thought I was going crazy. But my sister, who slept in the same room, said, "Could you stop that from happening?" So I was checking for the dog under my bed or my brother in the closet. Nothing. And me, in the 80s, having just seen The Exorcist, was pretty freaked out about
Yep.
this bed shaking situation.
Yep.
So finally, after 3 days, I just said to the air, "Can somebody tell me how to stop this from happening? What is going on?" And at that exact moment, a little ghost boy, I call him, came walking up beside my bed, and I could still remember him with his, very creamy white skin and his curly brown hair. And he said, my name is Leo. My daddy killed us all, and then he killed himself. Can you please help us get to the other side? Oh, boy.
Yeah, I don't know how I would have taken that, but
It's a heavy hit to take as a
Yep.
teenager.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. But for some reason, like we were talking about before, I was oddly calm. And I said, "Well, I don't know how to do that." And he said, "Well, you actually already do know how, but I'll help you. I'll show you."
Interesting.
Okay. Yeah. Very interesting.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if I would have been as calm as you in that situation.
no, and I have
wouldn't have been.
Nope. And I have no explanation for why or how I was calm, but I crossed them all over, and Daddy was the hardest to get over. He was not very cooperative. And then after they were all crossed over, it was peaceful. And then he came back and he said to me, "Thank you so much. Now I have a gift for you." And again, me being a teenager in the 80s, I'm thinking I'm going to get an Atari or a Nintendo or something.
Yep.
And please. And nope. Since then, the ability to read somebody, and not only read somebody, but see who's with them, like grandma or their uncle that's passed, was amped up like crazy. So trying to avoid that as a teenager when you're dealing with high school and boys and makeup and hair, it was crazy. So you think you're going a little nuts, and so you put it on the back burner, and you try and ignore it, and you go to school and you grow up and you get a job and you get married and you have kids and you have a normal job. And I was a teacher for many years. So I know I had to help shape young minds, which is frightening, but I did. But now I understand why I was so drained all the time. You have all this energy in the room, all these kids. And then when my job got changed to something I really wasn't going to like and didn't jive with, and my gut was telling me, "You don't like this," I said, "I'm going to try this psychic thing and see how it works." And sure enough, within 3 months, I didn't need to go back to teaching anymore. So it was
That's awesome.
amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool too. Like, I think you mentioned earlier, like, you're able to take that same kind of intuition, I guess, and help other people find that too, right? Like I think that's awesome. So
Yeah,
that's
100%.
unreal.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Because everybody has it. Everybody can do it. Everybody's intuitive. Everybody's got the superpower. But some people are better at it than others. So I could learn to sing. I could take singing lessons forever. I'm not going to be Celine Dion. I could play basketball with you every Monday night or something.
Yep.
I would never be LeBron James. I'm just not physically able to do it, mentally, emotionally. It's not in me. So everybody's intuitive, and I encourage everybody to use it and to learn it to the best of their abilities, because what it's going to do, it's going to give them that extra oomph, that edge, that insight, the superpower. Yeah.
Wow. So for someone like me who basically knows nothing about psychic mediums whatsoever, how do you go about getting into that headspace?
That's a great question. That's exactly the word I use, is headspace, because you have to be in a very neutral state of mind. No emotion. If you get too wrapped up in it, your emotions jade what information is coming through. So I do compare it to when you're out driving and you're going from here to there, but you don't know how you got from here to there. You know how you're totally aware of everything that's going on, but your mind has kind of floated away. And that's what I can do almost instantly. I can get into that headspace and boom, okay, the light's on, let's go.
That's interesting.
Wow.
It's very interesting.
So you kind of have to be in like auto mode to.
Yes. Yeah.
Did that take a while to like kind of develop to be able to, well, like anything, I guess it's practice, right? In
Practice.
terms of, like,
yeah, exactly. And I think my friends at some point got tired of me. Can I practice on you again? Can I practice on you
Right,
again?
yeah.
But that's the only way you get better, just like with anything else. And now I do it every day. So, and I'm not bragging, but you get better and better every day, because you learn. I meet different people every day, and that everybody I meet teaches me something new about my abilities and how to tap into it from a different angle. It's like, oh, now suddenly I'm seeing a radar screen when she's asking about her dating life. What's going on? So I look at this radar screen, and the bullseye is within a month. The next bullseye is 6 months. The next bullseye is a year. And I kind of have to tell her, I don't see any blips on your radar screen. Nobody's floating in.
Savage.
Sorry.
Wow. That's incredible.
Sorry. But sometimes there's something on the radar screen.
Yeah.
And so that was actually a new one for me in the last few months.
So I was going to say, like, is it tough to interpret sometimes? So is it visuals and audio?
That's
like,
a good question.
Kind of audio in terms of like, okay.
It's whatever way the message wants to come in.
Okay.
So some people I will get more of a thought. Some people I will get more of a picture. So if I asked you guys, if I said, say your name in your mind, can you do that? Can you do it instantly? And you could hear it clearly.
Yeah.
Right? And that's how I get my thoughts. Now, if it was outside of my head, it'd be a ghost, and I would run like hell, because I don't like ghosts. Spirits I like, because they've crossed over and they can come back and connect with us. Ghosts are stuck, and I don't know how to deal with them. I always compare ghosts to cats and spirits to dogs.
Interesting.
You know the differentiation there.
Sure do. Johnny.
Yeah. So I'll convey exactly what I get. I don't interpret anything, because I would interpret anything based on my perception in my life.
Your own experiences and stuff, right? So you kind of let them help you. You're like, hey, I'm seeing this. What does that mean to you? And then you take it from there.
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
Exactly. Because if I'm seeing a picture of, for example, this last week, I saw a lady, and she came in, and her friend, who had unfortunately passed away a few years ago from breast cancer, came in, and we're chit-chatting away, and her friend's like, I gotta go, but tell her, I don't remember her name, tell Laura Pickles. And so, do I try and interpret Pickles? No. So I said, okay, here's what she said. And she starts crying and then laughing, and I'm sitting there not knowing what to do. I said, okay, you got to tell me what Pickles what means. And she says, well, when we were growing up, like from the time we were in grade 2, we called each other Pickles. I don't know why, but that was our nickname for each other. Wow. And it was just so oddly specific.
Yeah.
She's,
Pickles.
You can't Google that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess too, like, again, going back to how other people can kind of almost like, I wouldn't say like tap into it, but everyone kind of has that intuition,
Of course.
and that gut feeling, right? So how do you go about like helping someone with that?
Good
Because I
question.
think like
Yeah.
before we were saying, like, everybody has a gift.
Of course.
And, like, you can't just like find it for them, kind of thing, right? So how's that process work in terms of?
Okay, so I teach them how to tap into what their gift is, because psychic is a very general term. So you can be clairvoyant, so you could see things more easily. You can be clairaudient. You can hear things more easily. You can be clairsentient. You could smell things. You could hear things, smell things, taste things, feel things in your body, all those kinds of things. So we try and figure out what works for you the best.
Okay.
And then we can go through things, very simple things, like when I do on my 60 seconds to psychic on Instagram or Facebook. So that's all you need. You don't need hours and hours of classes. So it's like, if I said A, can you picture B in your mind? And can you hear the letter B at the same time? Yeah. So you're doing your clairvoyance and your clairaudience at the same time. So I would say A, you think B. I would say C, you think D. So we do things like that. And we start with the very concrete, the very easy. We go from ABCs and 1, 2, 3s to me saying, okay, quickly, tell me what's going to happen next Saturday. And then they get this thought in their head and they're like, fire. And what's that mean? I don't know. So now you need to ask the who, what, where, when, why, and how. Why am I seeing fire? When is it? Why is it? Where is it? How is it happening? So, and let the answers come in.
Don't try and fill in the blanks.
No.
Okay. Yeah.
Don't try and censor it, and let it come in. And if you think it's your imagination at this point, who cares? Who cares? Let it come in, write it down, and see what happens next Saturday.
True.
Interesting.
I think this is cool because to a more general audience that wouldn't be as knowledgeable as you at this stuff, like, it's cool because it's almost like a meditative state where it's like, stop trying to filter stuff that's coming to you. Like, if it feels good and you know you want to do it, sometimes that's just good to do. Obviously there's exceptions to that, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. That's really interesting to me. You're just
Yeah.
taking it to that next level,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So,
And always use it in a positive way. And always be kind when you're going for what you want to go for. And the universe will reward you with what you want. That you will be guided along your purpose. If you take one step, they'll be like, oh, they're moving toward what they're supposed to do. Let's give them some more ideas. So more what we call signs. Okay. So you have to notice what you notice without reading too much into things. Because some people take it a little extreme.
Yeah.
Really,
Right.
if we're honest,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, no.
oh, there's a cloud out there today. It's like, it's a cloud.
It's a cloud. That's all it is.
Yeah.
That's a cloud.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's
Right.
like, notice what you notice. And you will see things repeated a few times before you get it. And that goes for good things. Like, you should be a basketball player, or you should be a singer. And it also goes for bad things, like, get away from this guy. Get away from this
Right.
guy. Get the F away from this guy.
Yes.
And the lessons, if it's a lesson, will get bigger and badder until you get it through your thick skull.
Right.
Interesting. Okay.
That's cool.
I'm just like sitting here like processing it.
I know.
This is just so
I know.
interesting.
There's
Yeah.
just so much info going into my brain right now.
Yeah.
You should see my brain someday.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can
I'm sure,
imagine.
yeah.
Well, because I was just gonna say, like, I actually want to use this in my own life because, like, obviously, everyone's trying to find their purpose and trying to do
Of course.
their own thing,
Yeah.
right? And it's like, how can I take what you're teaching us for free, by the way? So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah,
Anytime.
Yeah, and it's just like, how can I use that in my life when I'm, maybe on a shoot or even just editing or, trying
Right.
to get a new client or whatever it is, right? Like,
Yeah.
how can I use this and be more open to things? Or even, say we're shooting an event. It's like, oh, I know I have to shoot this, but it's like, what feels right to shoot?
Yeah.
Exactly.
What it
yeah.
is, you know what I mean?
Exactly. If you shoot, and if you're,
Here's what the textbook says, but here's what I know to be true, kind of
here's
thing.
what feels
Yeah.
right.
So, yeah.
And how do I get this new client? Okay. So let me what you have to do is take the wanting to be their, to be their videographer. You have to take that wishful thinking out of the way. Okay, what would be the best way to get this deal? And see what comes up. And let it go from there, and you could be writing it down or recording it with audio, that's usually the best. I think I should do A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
And without any filters of like self-doubt.
No filters.
Yeah. Cool.
And see what comes up. And I do a lot with young folks. I can call you folks because I'm twice your age. And dating, because dating is it's quite the experiment in human behavior.
Well, it's all
these days.
feeling and energy, right? I
It
think
is.
at least what you tell me.
Entirely. And that's the problem, is it's all feeling and energy. So a lot of times that gets in the way. So
Which is interesting because that's what it's all about.
I know.
That's really interesting.
It's a catch-22. So you have to really back up and say, okay, now if I get the fact that she's a hot girl out of the way, and I get the fact that this out of the way, and that, if you get all those fireworks are going off out of the way, do I like her? And at some point, you might just feel, oh, no, I don't really, but she's really hot, but I don't like her. So you just have a little fun with, your friends and carry on.
Yeah.
So it's like if you hear a no in your mind, you hear a no. Like woman, we're notorious for that gut instinct, right? Mm-hmm. So I tell the ladies out there, if you meet some guy, if you get the slightest hint of no, even if it's just nope, then it's no. Just go. We're always like, but he's cute, I'll give him another chance. No. And you're going to keep getting that no more and more, because maybe he'll be nice for a few weeks, or she'll be nice for a few weeks, and then she'll go off the rails, or he'll go off the rails, and you're like, damn it, I should have listened to that little voice inside me. I knew it.
Been there.
Yeah, we all have.
Yep.
We all have. And dating, you can cut the bad ones off. You can cut them right off in about a few weeks if you ignore the no, but pay attention to what they're teaching you about yourself. Like, are you always feeling like, oh, geez, I just don't feel like I'm good enough, or, oh, I don't feel like, they like me very much. So you're looking for people to like you. Why am I looking for people to like me? And then you go back and you do some soul searching and you do some healing. And once you figure that out, that relationship ends. And then you get a higher quality person and a higher quality person until you get the person that's perfect for you.
Right.
So you can expedite that whole process.
So pay attention to the no's, all that stuff.
Yes.
When does it get to the point that it's something about you that you're like putting up that blockage instead of actually taking it from... Let me explain this better.
Are we talking about dating?
Yes.
Okay.
Relationships. Yeah, sorry. Okay. So say like, I really like this girl, but then everything in my head is saying no, but it shouldn't be saying no.
Why should it not be saying no?
I don't know. Like, is there a reason like that maybe I would personally put up that blockage, or is there a way to like...
It could be.
Or is that just like complex as hell and you're just like, fuck that?
No.
You're like, well,
I don't feel like answering that.
Yeah,
So
you have problems, see a therapist.
Yeah. No, if it keeps saying no, it keeps saying no. There's something about that. There's something deep down. So you've got to go inside and say, why? Why the hell do you keep saying no to this woman I really, really like?
Okay.
And if you don't get an answer, keep dating her. Keep dating her, because eventually the no is going to come out. Now, it could be that you have to get this out of your head. Is she reminding you of somebody else that hurt you? Is she reminding you of somebody way back from your past? Your aunt who pushed you in a ditch when you were young. Like, does she, sometimes it's like she physically resembles somebody, but you're not consciously remembering it at that time. So listen to the no. But if you really,
why.
The why is the important part. Cool. It's tricky.
It is.
It's tricky because we all want that person, but our soul knows the person that's right for us.
True.
Mm-hmm.
Could it be that you're just saying no because you know that other person is beyond that person that's in front of you right now?
That your soul knows there's somebody else there for you?
Yeah, like
it's totally.
Not that specific person that is right in front of you right now. It's actually someone in the future.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and sometimes it's there is no actual reason, but based on what you're saying, it's sometimes people, and this sounds awful, but some people are in your life as fillers, just to keep you busy, just to have somebody to do something with until the right person comes along.
Or lessons, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Fair enough.
It's complicated. Mm-hmm.
Does make sense though. Like even just like relating back to some stuff I've been through, like that makes total sense to me.
Yep, 100%.
I have zero idea why this is a burning question to me, but
Okay.
it's just interesting to me. So, say I come to you and I have like relatives that have passed away,
Okay.
but that don't speak English.
Yes.
How does that come through to you? Like, how do you deal with like not translating that per se, but like
Yeah.
getting that message out?
Excellent question. Excellent question. Because language is a human thing. We developed it. On the other side, they don't speak, they don't talk. They connect with thoughts. They connect with pictures like we talked about before. So everything is projected thought. So even if your grandmother spoke Polish or Ukrainian, I would get it in English because I'm English. If I was a French-speaking psychic, I'd get it in French. Now, piggybacking,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Make it cool crazy, but
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get called crazy. It's okay.
No, I didn't mean, sorry, I didn't mean it in a negative
I'm
context.
teasing. No, piggybacking on that, I know now I'm going to sound really crazy because I've had animals come in. I've heard from hamsters, rabbits, dogs, cats, whales. Honestly, whales.
Wow.
Whales.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was doing a show once and I could
Greenland?
no, but you're close.
Crossover.
So I was doing a big show once, and out of the corner of my eye, I see a killer whale come into the room, and there was no way that anybody's had a pet killer whale. So I
You
turned.
definitely can't ignore that when you
I-
see that.
you
come in
can't.
the room.
You can't. I turn and I said, okay, from this side of the room, I'm getting a strong connection to a killer whale, and he's actually right in front of you, and he kind of looks sheepishly at me because men get a little fearful when I'm coming over to them for some reason more than women. And he says, well, I was a trainer at Marineland for many, many years, and I had this special bond with this one whale whose name I can't remember at this time. And I said, okay, well, why is this whale like hiding and then coming back and then hiding and then coming back? He said, and then he started crying, which is kind of my favorite part when I can make a man cry. And
That's good.
yes. And he said he used to play hide and seek with this whale all the time. So he would duck underneath the barrier, then pop up, and the whale would swim around. And like, I'm not advocating Marineland or saying it's good or bad, but I'm just saying this is what happened. And it was just such a special moment for him to know that that whale thought he was like the best thing ever. Like he appreciated his presence in his life.
Wow.
Yeah. And
It's gonna make me cry. Right?
I know, but you can't because then you won't get your information,
True, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Very true.
Yeah. And I have a lady that rescues hamsters. She has a whole room full of hamsters. And we sat there one day and I rhymed off every dead hamster she had, like very specifically the names. And it was just the cutest thing.
Jeez,
Wow.
So hamsters even want to say thank you.
amazing.
Mm-hmm.
There you
Wow.
go. Appreciate all life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. Except
Yeah.
mosquitoes. We can't. We don't need to
No, yeah.
appreciate mosquitoes.
Full genocide on mosquitoes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
Pets can get more emotional than their loved ones on the other side and their friends on the other side. We'll be talking.
Because you're the only thing that they have.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, you know, we have all these options.
Yeah.
And whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
True.
you'll be talking to their mom who had passed, and then the mom turns and says, "Oh, I have your dog Stevie here," and the waterworks start, and it's like it's just so wonderful. And people need to know that their pets, though they've crossed over, still live with them. They are still there, and they'll come up and they'll say, "Oh, I still sit on that tile that's broken, that's right beside the fridge," and they're what?
Yeah.
That's-
Like, how would you know about
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, literally.
So
Yeah.
it's that clear. It's as clear as I can speak to you or me,
Wow.
coming from a dog or cat.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Should we get Johnny down here or
Yeah,
what?
literally. It's just because it's so like new to me. Like I don't know. Like
Oh, for sure.
Right?
Yeah,
So I
it's new to a
apologize.
lot of
Literally.
people,
Yeah.
and you guys are being great, and you're very open to it, and you're asking wonderful questions, and there are skeptics out there. And what I tell people is, please be skeptical. Please do not believe everything you see or hear or read. Don't just be skeptical, but don't be an asshole.
Of course.
You know, just
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
you know, you can't believe everything. You need to go if you're going to see a psychic. be skeptical, have an open mind. Don't test them, but make sure that they're giving you specific information, specific names, things that only you would know. Because I could sit here and say, oh, your mom's here and she says she loves you. Well, no kidding.
Yeah.
My mother damn well better come in and say she loves me, because I will, when I get over there, I will kick her ass if she doesn't. So
that's incredible.
yeah, you need very specific things. I will say, okay, so, and the lady will say, well, can I talk to my dad? Oh, James? Yes. So sometimes it comes very clear like that. Some things.
Sometimes it takes a while.
Sometimes it takes a while. And sometimes I'm like, okay, where are you, Dad? And I'll have to ask the person for Dad's name. And so I put out a call to the universe. So where's Dad? And I'll come back and say, well, he's with Phil. And the eyes light up. Oh my gosh, that's his brother. He's on the other side too. Do you mean they're together? Yeah, they're together. There was somebody named Molly or Millie or Miley, an ML name. And that's their mother, So the names can come through very specifically, or they can come through, with just the sounds, like ML, and it could be. But the person if I say a name to somebody, they have to be an important person in their life or somebody they just talked to and just saw. And generally, Dad's going to come in or Mom's going to come in or whoever's going to come in, and they're not suddenly angelic. And they don't have these divine words of wisdom.
No, it's just like, hey, what's up?
Yeah, hey, what's up? I saw you at Costco the other day and you bought a lot of toilet paper, or they'll say, they won't say that. Everybody does that. But they'll say something very specific.
Yeah.
And the person's usually, oh, I just did that this morning. Or Mom comes in and says, did you just talk to Angie? I just texted Angie when I was in the car waiting for my appointment. Oh, so Mom was sitting in the car with you. So it has to be specific. And if you have a bad experience with a psychic, just don't go back. If they say, oh, I need to remove a curse, or there's something like that, you need to come back, or you need to pay me more, don't go back. Run like hell.
Because then it's just
run.
Scam.
Yeah.
That sucks too, because then it gives you guys like a bad rap.
Oh,
That's
totally.
Like a general
we have a
thing,
terrible
right?
rap. Yeah. And I tell people, you can make another appointment to come see me if you'd like. But if you get to that time and it doesn't feel like you want to come back, cancel it. It's okay. And they always ask me, how often do I need to come back? You don't need to come back at all. My preference is that I never see you again because you develop the ability to yourself.
Right.
But they come back. I mean, my regulars are there twice a year or every year. The people that come more regularly are somebody that's, say, lost a child, and they want to come back every few months just to connect with that child.
Yeah. Right.
And there's people you could hear somebody out in the world saying, oh, I bet you prey on them. No, of course not. Of course I don't prey on them, because they're getting very specific, meaningful connections with their child. And do I charge them? Probably not. It's their kid. Who charges somebody to talk to their kid?
Yeah.
So it's pretty fantastic, and it's pretty extraordinary, and every day something really cool happens.
Yeah.
And everybody says, doesn't that drain you? Not at all, because it's like, when you're out shooting a video.
I was just gonna say.
Yeah.
It's about finding that. It's
Yeah.
about finding that gift that you have, and
If
going
anything,
forward
that should
with it.
motivate you.
Yeah. Well, that was like us with Warner Road. You know what I mean? Like we were shooting like 20-hour days. Like.
Oh wow.
Like like physically, like you're not even supposed to be doing that, and then
No.
like you're up the next day after 4 hours, and you're like still at the same energy level. It's like that's when you're like.
You've hit your purpose.
Yeah, right. So,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, because something cool happens, like, oh, that's an amazing shot, and you get this burst of energy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like
We do
there,
that all the
yeah.
time. Yeah.
See? So it's the same thing.
Yeah.
So the only way I'm tired is if I'm tired.
Yeah.
And-
But everyone gets tired.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to be up every day.
No, and actually being a little tired for me is helpful, because my mind will tend to drift away a little more easily, right?
True.
So it's like, oh, kind of dreamy. So I've only fallen asleep once on a client.
Really?
Like once, like
That's
10 years
incredible.
ago, 10 or something years ago. Cause my,
Lynn?
yeah. Oh, your mother's here. I was talking to her. No, I didn't fall asleep, but
Was that like your most embarrassing moment? Or
it was, I
has
think,
there been like a show where you've like,
oh, no. I think I covered that really well. I couldn't even tell you who it was, but it was just that moment. You know, if you fall asleep and you just kind of go like this really quick.
Yeah.
So I think my kids were
Like a
young.
Eureka moment.
Yeah. Oh, my kids were young and they had been up all night sick, and I was doing a reading, and I had just put my hand, like my head in my hand, just for a moment, just to clear my brain, and I went right into REM sleep just for that split second.
Gone.
And then I just went, oh. Okay, carry on. So she didn't notice, but oh my gosh, I was so embarrassed. I was thinking,
you knew.
please, I knew. It's only happened once, but the reading was actually one of the better ones because
Because you were so deep into.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I just have to be the sleeping psychic or what I have to do.
It's a good tagline.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna have a nap and then I will tell you what's going on in your
exactly.
life.
I'll come to you in 10 minutes and we'll talk.
That would be my dream job.
Yeah,
That really would.
right?
Yeah.
One day. There's always time.
Has there ever been any embarrassing stuff like actually at a show in front of like tons of people? Or like have you ever like embarrassed somebody like
All the time.
Yeah?
All the time.
So like this stuff can come to you and be like, yeah, buddy's calling you a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. The one, oh yeah.
Like that would suck going in. Oh, I'm so excited to see what people have to like say and all stuff. And like, yeah, Uncle Jerry says he fucking hates you. Oh, nice.
They would never say anything bad. Never. You actually don't have an ability to feel anything negative on the other side,
Really?
which is kind of cool.
Okay.
When I was at a show
That's
once,
interesting.
yeah, it's a very weird feeling.
So then it's like more so like a make fun of, not like a,
yeah, totally.
Oh, okay.
Totally.
Sorry, I keep interrupting you.
No, that's your show. You do what you want. When I was at a show once, there had to be over 250 people there, and I came to this lady, and her husband had passed. No, this is a different one. This is one where this lady, I came over. Her husband wasn't there. That was it. So her friends were there, and the lady's mother had shown up. Her mother had passed, and they were I was chit-chatting for a bit, and I said, "Oh, your mom says you have a monkey in the house." And she says, "What? No." I said, "Well, do you have like a picture of monkeys or a stuffed animal?" "No, I don't have a monkey." So I listened for Mom, and she says, "She has a monkey in the bedroom." And I said, "This is what your mother says." The lady turned 10 shades of red, and she just starts laughing. And I look at her friends. I said, "What's the monkey in her bedroom?" And "We don't know." And she's like, okay. "I call my husband's penis the monkey." And scene. I was like, okay.
What? Why
Yeah.
a monkey?
I don't know. I didn't ask. I
Spider
couldn't.
monkey.
I just started laughing. I walked away. I was like,
monkey.
I'm out. I was like, drop my mic.
Why would
Okay.
the mother know that though?
Because she's passed away now, right? So she can come in even in some rather awkward moments
That's
when
kinda...
she's playing with the monkey and calling it the
Yes.
monkey. I don't know. I don't know what went on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, heavens.
And she just wanted to let her know she was there. So this is where we go back to, it has to be very specific and meaningful.
Yeah, clearly, I
that's
mean,
yeah.
very specific. And
Yeah. And they don't judge. They're not like, "Oh, they're doing it. Look at this." They're just like, "Oh, yeah, they're having sex. Okay, carry on." So it's actually, it's
Interesting.
kind of fun. Yeah. So that's what my shows are about. Embarrassing people and making them cry.
Incredible.
Wow, that's amazing.
Love that. I feel like a lot of people say like, okay, I have this gift and this is what I'm good at and this is what I'm passionate about, but like how do I survive off that? Because everyone's like, "Oh, follow your passion, do all this shit." It's okay. You have to like live still.
You have to
Society
live.
still goes
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, so maybe like, how did you turn this gift into something that, you're doing full time and you're just like running
Yeah.
with?
Yeah, that's a great question, because a lot of my clients do have a passion, but they do have to pay the bills. So it's like, well, you got your side hustle going on. So keep your side hustle going on while you're paying the bills. Eventually, you're going to be too busy. You won't be able to go to work. So back in the day, I'm going back to 2005 when I was still teaching. I've been teaching for 20 years and the government changed. So my job got canned. So it's like, oh, surprise, because I was teaching a very specialized program, which I loved. So I thought, you know what? I'll go back to, like I said before, I'll go back to supply teaching. Why don't I give this psychic thing a try? I've been doing it my whole life. I've been doing it with friends and family. Let me try this. And so when I wasn't in the classroom, I would book readings and I would charge very minimally. And just through word of mouth, it built and built and built.
That's awesome.
It is. And at the same time, this is almost not pre-internet, but just at the very beginnings of Facebooks and not Instagram wasn't even around.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So, and there was no learning academies online or anything like that. So what I did was I contacted the local school board and asked them if they'd be interested in running a 6-week intuition development course. And I would teach that, and they paid me just like my teaching wage. And I
That's
did,
amazing.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought that's the only way to get out there. And my first class had like 35 people in it. I was like, holy cow.
Feeling the pressure a little bit.
Yeah,
right?
I was like, I walked in and I still remember my eyes going, oh shit. Like
what did I get myself into?
Yeah. So I just went with what I needed, with what I knew. And I did that for 6 years. And after that point, I decided to, I thanked them. I was very grateful, but I didn't need to do it anymore. I was doing workshops on my own. And through those classes and through the workshops, people were coming to me for readings.
Right.
So now people were coming to me for readings and telling their friends who told their friends who told their friends. So we're 15 years later and I've never had to advertise.
Yeah.
And
congrats, by the way. That's
which
awesome.
is
Yeah.
awesome.
That's amazing.
And thank you. And then now I'm going to the next level. So now I want to do bigger shows because they're just so much fun to hear a room full of people laughing. It's the best feeling ever. Yeah.
Especially when you're kind of like the catalyst of that.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah.
And they're not laughing at me, which is good.
Yeah, that's always a plus.
They're laughing at other people with monkeys.
Yeah.
So, so we're, it's a little selfish because it makes me feel so good. But I'm at the point in my life whereas if it's not fun, it doesn't feel good, I'm not going to do it.
Of course.
So I'm going to do more and more shows. Now, the people that I've been doing readings for all these years are now coming to the shows. And it's just so flattering because
That's incredible.
they're coming to see me. And I still don't even know what to do with that because I come out and they're clapping. I'm like, oh, geez. It's a little embarrassing. It's very humbling. And I thank the hell out of them because it's just been an extraordinary journey. And I hope they're going to be there as I carry on and do bigger and better things.
For sure. That's amazing. And like,
That's
Thank you.
Do you still feel the pressure maybe that you once felt at the beginning, or is it just become one of those things where you're just like, you know what, I've done this enough times. Like I know.
Yeah. And I just have faith that it's going to take, I found what I'm good at, just
Right.
like you guys have. And I have faith that as long as I, am true to it and I'm doing things positively and making people's lives better, I can keep moving forward. And I want to make an impact while I make an income.
Yeah.
So
of
I
course.
think as long as I'm making an impact and people are making people feel good about themselves, then everybody wins. So
100%.
I'm looking forward to lots more years of fun and laughter and tears.
True.
Yeah.
That's great.
I can't wait.
I think that's pretty cool because that's almost like the same kind of path that we're on in terms of like how we create videos and photos and all these films
Nice.
because it's the same
Yeah.
type of thing, right? You just want to impact people and maybe make them
Yeah.
think about something in a different way
Exactly.
or inspire them to do
Yeah.
this or, make them cry sometimes, right? And it's like seeing those people, like even I guess one of the best examples right now is when we were at Pro Gloves and we did the opening video
wow.
for
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
and they played it in front of all 1,300 people and like,
Wow.
I mean, you can attest this. We kind of just looked around at like all the faces because it played in the big cube and we were right under it.
Oh,
Yeah.
my goodness.
And like to just look out and see
Surreal.
all these people like just watching it like, whoa, and they were reacting to all the moments you want them to react to. It was like, yes.
Oh, you
Yeah,
just feel it. And
Like,
you
I
just,
literally looked at him like, dude, I'm so fired up right now. Like we're going to crush this shoot. Like it was such a good feeling.
Yeah.
I love that feeling.
Just finding that impact or gift that you have.
Right. Right. So it's a tough one for a lot of people. It is because life can bog you down. But I think if you listen to that little voice deep inside of you, you can do it. You can do it. You can make an impact and you can find your superpower, put your cape on, strap on, pull up some tights and take off.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think like my last question then with that is like, of course everyone's going to be different, but like what's the best way to kind of get rid of all those distractions? Other than the obvious of, put your phone down and talk to people. Like, is there any like tips or tricks that you
people?
have? Yeah. Other people are in the room.
People?
Yeah.
To do what? To
Kind of just
distractions?
getting rid of
Yeah.
those distractions. Like, is there any advice that you would have for people that?
It's a tough one, and it depends on how big your distractions are, right? So it's become very easy for me because like I've got a very nice life, so I don't have a heck of a lot of distractions, but there's emotional stresses and everything, and you have to decide to not think about them. It's like, I'm just not going to think about them. I know it sounds very simple, but some days you wake up feeling like crap and you're like, oh, it's going to be a shitty day and I'm not going to blah, blah, blah. You know what? No, it's not. I'm going to have a good day. And as soon as you make the decision, the day turns out good, right?
Yeah.
So as long as, if you decide, I'm not going to have these distractions you got to practice for 30 seconds. I'm not going to think about anything except this silly things like this pen. I'm just going to think about this pen, the shape of it, the colors of it, the words on it. So you can train your mind to get away from distractions. You could stare at a blank wall and just breathe like in yoga and just think about in and out. That's a tough one for me.
Yeah.
But there's lots of really good, pick up your phone. There's lots of really good apps for that.
Yeah.
There's an app for that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm sure there's lots of mind clearing apps and things like that. But you've got to find a space in your mind where nobody's going to bother you, and find a space in your house where nobody's going to bother you. But it's in there. Finding it's hard, but it's in there.
It's unreal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good advice. So what's next for you then?
Oh, next for me. So do you want to know what's coming up?
Little plug.
100%.
Right now.
Little plug.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay.
This is your little bit of advertising.
Okay,
You don't
and
have to.
I'm
Yeah,
so
not that you have to. Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm terrible at talking about myself, but can I tell them where to find me online?
Of course,
Okay.
yeah, anything.
So online, Facebook at Lynn Nicholls _psychic medium. You can find me online at lynnichols.com. Instagram is Lynn_Nicholls. And on all those sites, I give you ways to develop your intuition. And once a month or twice a month, I do free readings over Facebook Live or Instagram Live. The next step is to be doing bigger shows, do more radio, do some television. And after this, I don't know if I want to do it anymore, but in the process of I've enjoyed this, but the technical side is mind boggling. But I'm going to be starting my own podcast on how to develop your intuition.
Wow.
Unreal.
Yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
just how to
It was a
tune
good
in.
practice.
It was
There you go.
perfect. Yeah. Like I'm just going to use my phone
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
a microphone, but just how to develop your own intuition. So that's in the works.
That's
and
awesome.
I'm looking forward to people tuning into that. So I'm going to be doing that on YouTube and then turning it into a podcast
Unreal.
Awesome.
and then onward. Right.
That's great.
And
Any shows coming up?
I have a show on February 20th at White Oaks.
Okay.
I just booked that,
Amazing.
so I'm excited about that.
Incredible.
And then I have 3 shows booked this year at Ruth's Chris.
Nice.
Cool.
So it's going to be fun. They've got some really neat deals for people coming in to have dinner and drinks and a show.
Sweet.
So they're trying to give back to the locals because we know it's a tourist area. We know it's on Fallsview Boulevard and we don't venture down there ever.
Mm-hmm.
So they just want to bring people in and show them that they appreciate them and they appreciate their city.
Check out her promo video.
Oh, my promo video is the best promo video. Somebody in the room may or may not
May or
have
may
filmed
not.
it.
That's awesome. That was such a fun night. I was like,
That was a
whoa,
great
yeah,
night.
That was good. That was really cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
Lynn, thank you so much for coming
Yeah,
out. I
thank
really
you so
appreciate
much.
it. Yeah.
You're very
Yeah,
welcome.
I, for
Thank
one,
you.
learned a ton.
Yeah.
This has been very eye-opening
Great.
to me.
Yeah.
Great.
That's been great. Yeah, we had a lot of fun. So, yeah, thanks.
Oh, thank you. You're very welcome.
And make sure you tune in. We got more episodes on the way. This has been Instillment HQ. Thanks so much for watching, listening, and doing everything that you do.
Till next time.
Follow your gut.